Good morning, everyone. I got a little bit of a raspy. Yeah, I get it. I started 1 minute late. Awesome. So, good morning, everyone. It is March 11th. It is a Wednesday, 2026. Good morning to all of you guys. If you're watching here for the first time or in the playback, what we do on this channel is we do an overall market check. We start with crypto, then we'll move on to silver, gold, oil. A lot going on in the world right now, so things have been pretty dicey, to say the least, over the past 2 weeks. Probably going to see that continue. And I'm really excited about DeFi, and I see a question right off the bat that I'm going to address real quick before we jump into things. Kristen asks, I want to start using Flare DeFi instead of my exchange. Talk me over the ledge. What are the time frames of your assets getting locked up? Well, actually, you get to choose the lockup period. So there's a minimum lockup of 2 weeks. So if you just wanted to kind of dip your toes in, kind of get started with that, maybe you could just go for like a month just to kind of like see how it all works. I think the problem with the minimum 2 week lockup is that you're not going to get the full lockup period unless like you are down to the millisecond of when you put it in, because it pays out every 2 weeks. So if you do a minimum 2 weeks, you'll get a prorated return on that. Not the most efficient way to do it. So if you're going to, I would just say start with 1 month and then kind of like lengthen your horizons as you become more comfortable with it. Personally, I'm locked in all the way through to 2027. So and you guys have seen on my Flare mini series, I'm locked up until August 3rd. On my primary wallet, I'm locked in until I think it's January 1st, or it's sometime in 2027. I believe I went all the way through the expiry date on the Anchor FTSO. So I'm in Anchor on both my YouTube wallet and also my primary one. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Mill. Good morning, Echo, FRD, and Pat. I'm going to jump over now to the market. The markets, there's a lot of news going on right now. The markets haven't had that much news themselves. So it's been a pretty common trend over the past week or so that, crypto goes up and then it goes right back down, and there's not a lot of forward momentum, but we're not really losing ground either. So we're kind of in this wishy-washy kind of wave cycle. As you can see, even on the month, Bitcoin, for what it's worth, over a 1 month time frame, it's up 1%. So it's not down, but it's also not up either. We've been seeing it really kind of flat, but it's as opposed to normal markets, a flat market in crypto is still like 5% swings on a daily basis in either direction. So there's a lot of whiplash. You feel like you're looking at these charts one day, you're like, oh man, we're finally climbing out of this thing, just to see it come back down. Oh, we're climbing out of this thing, just to see it come back down. And really that has been the theme ever since September. We saw those all-time highs late last year. October was when we got hit with that 126,000 Bitcoin. Been down ever since, and now it seems we're kind of in this stabilizing zone right here. Some people have saying this might be the bottom. I think there's probably going to be one more bottom before we hit the true bottom, and then we're probably going to start seeing it climb out from there. So let me adjust my stream. I have yesterday's chat open still. So let me just move this thing over there and make sure I've got the right one. And then we'll keep it rolling. Okay, cool. There we go. So as far as price goes, not a lot of excitement. I do want to show you guys a video on the second half of the stream. The official keynote address from Hugo at the Ripple conference in Australia has finally hit YouTube. That just came out, I think, a couple hours ago, actually. It seems to be the first time footage of that Australia conference has hit the internet. So I wanted to kind of take us through it. If you guys, obviously been watching the channel for a while, you guys know that I'm very, very bullish on Flare. I'm starting to think that Flare is kind of leading the pack here. And the address from Hugo really, made me even more confident in that position. I really do see Flare as taking over the crypto space as time goes on. And of course, we all love XRP, but for some reason, things have been pretty quiet out of Ripple lately. Whereas this sounds weird to say, but I almost feel like Flare is doing more for XRP than Ripple is, which I never thought I would actually say that out loud, but at least for now, that seems to be the way things are going. Now the Flare price, still down just like the rest of the coins are. This is really the spot I'm saying, dollar cost averaging in here while we're at pretty much the true bottom. This is going to be, give it 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you'll be looking back in the horizon saying, how did I not buy more when it was at this price? So I'm looking at this, as long as it's below 1 cent, Flare is going to be a very, very strong buy for me. I guess an interesting question is, when would you kind of pull back? When would you start buying less? If Flare were to get back up to 2 cents, that might be when I start to think, well, maybe I'll start pulling back a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily stop altogether, but I do think there's some value to pulling back on your DCA just a little bit when markets are on a run. That way you can collect a little bit more cash, kind of have a stockpile, not just for an emergency fund, but in the investing world, people like to call it dry powder. By the way, the pollen in the air, been raining a lot, so I might be coughing on stream today. I got a tickle in the back of my throat. I don't think it's being sick. I think it's just allergy related. But the pollen is very thick. It rained all through the night, so very. I guess what I'm going to say, we might be sneezing, might be coughing on the stream today. Very heavy in the pollen in the air today. So Flare, in terms of DeFi, I really do think that DeFi is the way forward for crypto. And if we look at, I want to back up to Bitcoin here. If we look at Bitcoin, it really moves. Everyone knows about the 4-year cycles, but there's really probably been 3 different times that Bitcoin has really, really ripped, right? So there were times in the early eras as well, but the charts are too hard to look at from in a logarithmic scale. You can't even analyze these. We're going back to 2017. That was the original time that Bitcoin went up to 19,000. Then we saw it crash, right? It goes from 19 all the way down to 3,000. Stays in this little zone for a while. This was the doom and gloom era. Everyone was saying Bitcoin was dead. Then sure enough, the 2020s happened. Bitcoin goes from, 5K at the low end all the way up to 60,000, then again to 67. So you see it move, in some cases, a 10x in just a very short time span before crashing back down. I think DeFi is going to change this, you guys. In fact, right now we're seeing the same pattern play out in real time. This could be the last time that we see this, because up until now, crypto has basically just been, pump and dumps and bag flipping. DeFi is the complete opposite of that. So even going up to Kristen's point in the very, very, very beginning of the stream, once you start locking up tokens, that means that you can't flip them for profit. That means that there's going to be less volatility in crypto going forward, especially if we start seeing the tokenization of real world assets and there's just more participation in DeFi all around. I'm thinking that we might not ever see these insane spikes and crashes going forward. This might be the last time that we see this, which I would be very in favor of. Now, that does mean to some extent there's probably going to be a little less volatility. What I would like to see is more of like a price repricing is a little bit of a redundant thing to say. Let's say asset repricing. So we see all this influx coming into crypto. Right now, the overall market cap, I believe, is 3 trillion. Oh, now it's down to 2.5 trillion. Pretty nuts. At one point, it was up to 4. But you got 2.4 trillion in market cap, and this is across the entire crypto space. As this continues to go back up, I'm seeing it probably hit 20 trillion within the next 2 or 3 years. That just means across the whole market, I'm still expecting to see it 10x probably by 2027 to early 2028. I know that, everyone had their hopes up that it was going to happen this year. I would ask people to kind of temper their expectations. There's things going on in the world that are outside of our control, that are putting the markets in a very high pressure situation that, I guess in some cases you could have predicted what's going on right now, considering all the different crazy war that is kicking off there in the Middle East. But I'm just looking at it like, could anyone really have foreseen it would get to where it is right now? I'm not so sure. So we're seeing the market have a pretty heavy beating here. We just need to basically crypto is going dormant. It's kind of like they call it a crypto winter. Think of all of your assets like flowers, right? They're what do they call it? Perennials. The plants that last through the winter, they just go dormant. That's kind of what crypto's at right now. So it's like, as long as you're not selling your bags, you just hang in there, and I think everyone will be made whole. Something that's kind of cool, I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed this. On CoinMarketCap, XRP now has an animated logo. So does Solana, by the way, but I don't think anyone else has. Oh, never mind. Bitcoin also has an animated logo. Ethereum does not, however, so I wonder if this is like some subliminal messaging coming out from the coin market people. Oh, it looks like Dogecoin's also animated. Well, this kind of has me curious. I kind of feel like scrolling through and seeing how many different tokens have animated icons, and is there any subliminal messaging coming out of this? Looks like World Liberty Financial has an animated logo. Uniswap has an animated one. Looks like OKB. I don't even know what OKB is. So just kind of fun. Maybe it's not actually that big of a deal that CoinMarketCap now has these animated logos. But when I saw the XRP one, I'm like, oh man, that was the first one I saw. So I was like, oh man, is there something going on here? But maybe it's just them updating their user experience here. So Flare and Quant, though, sitting pretty steady here at ranks 64 and 65. I think this probably doesn't change until we get some major adoption going through. Flare, I expect will get adopted on some levels, kind of already has been, but I think it'll get some more institutional adoption probably before anything else does. By the way, it looks like we got some extra people here. I'm going to say good morning to real quick. Good morning, Say, and good morning, Dynamod. I think I might have missed Stav and Chris. Good morning to you guys as well. Dinah asks, On is an exchange token. Could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know what it is at all. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here that, I guess it's kind of just like regular stocks, right? You can't know every single thing that's out there. Speaking of there's Ondo. Ondo is going to be really important for real estate. So if you're someone that's into real estate tokenization, if that's something that you're interested in, keep an eye on Ondo. I think Ondo and HBAR are probably going to have some level of partnership going on. That's really going to get into the tokenizing, like specifically in Ondo's case would be real estate. So one of the reasons I am excited for tokenized real estate is because it opens up options for you to be more flexible with your own property. So let's just say, for example, I was to tokenize my house. If I wanted to get a loan on my house, you know, right now we've got Kinetic, right? I've got Kinetic tab open. I could, in a future where this thing gets enabled, I mean, these things aren't enabled yet, I could take my house to a platform like Kinetic, or maybe I take it to Mystic, whoever ends up being first to market with that product. I say, hey, look, I've got this $500,000 house. I'm not saying that's what it actually is. It's just an easy number to work with. I've got this $500,000 house. I've tokenized it. I want to put 183,552 tokens up for a collateralized loan. I mean, you could get that granular with it, right? And so now you can get a loan against your house on your own terms in the crypto space. You don't have to go through an intermediary like a bank. And you don't have to, I mean, you can shop around, you know, find the best APY on those loans, borrow against your asset, borrow against a very specific number of the asset. I mean, think of the flexibility there, and then all of that money is on chain, so it all transacts instantly. So like, think of it this way: if you're a real estate company, you have to. There's going to be no choice but to tokenize. Think of it like this. I don't remember off the top of my head all the different mortgage company. I know there's Rocket Mortgage. I know that there's Liberty Financial, Wells Fargo. Can you imagine if you're at the closing and it's like, well, we need about 2 months to move all these checks around. You know, we got to get a check from the mortgage lender, and then we got to get a check from the seller. And then when you close a house, it takes like 2 months for the money to clear, because it's not just one transaction. It's moving from firm to firm. It can take quite a while. In fact, if you've ever had to roll an IRA, you've probably experienced, you know, how long it takes for that to move around. With the tokenization, if I have a competitor that can literally move the money while the clients are still in the room signing the paperwork, well, that's going to be the company that wins out all the business, right? So that is huge. Once tokenization goes live, every real estate company, every mortgage writing company, Rocket Financial, Wells Fargo, they're all going to have to play ball, whether they want to or not. And I think a lot of them will. Because it's going to be a cutting edge advantage for whichever real estate company goes on chain first is going to have that competitive advantage. And so I really do think we're going to see a crazy amount of influx of money coming into the crypto space in the very near future. Now, of course, you have to factor in this probably doesn't happen until there's clarity. So I think there's ways around the clarity issue if the Clarity Act doesn't pass. But if the Clarity Act does pass, expect tokenization to happen very quickly. And when I say very quickly, I mean it could happen in literally days. So I think a lot of these companies are sitting on the sidelines waiting to see how this bill passes. I think they're ready to move, but they're not moving yet because there's no clarity. We could see clarity coming through in the next month. I'm just personally not excited for the current bill as it's currently written, just because there's privacy, and as like a sovereignty of your own self and citizenship, there's issues there that I'm not okay with. But if all you cared about was making money, I think the Clarity Act will make a lot of people a lot of money. It's just a question of what do you give up in exchange for that money? Because everything has a price, including privacy. And so, by the way, yes, if you guys could like the stream, there's only 7 likes so far. If you guys could help me bump that up, there's 35 of you in here watching. Let's see if I can get up. If you guys can help me get to 15, we'll be good. I'm not going to stop streaming, of course, but every little bit does help. So I'm looking at the Clarity Act. I'm thinking, I think it's going to pass. I think it'll probably pass within the next month. But I also think it's going to be a bad bill. And so we're going to have to figure that out. Like, how do you navigate this bad bill if it passes? Because I do think it'll pass. But it's weird. It's so weird to be saying that I'm not excited for the Clarity Act, despite the fact that it's probably going to be the thing that makes all of our crypto assets skyrocket in price. So it's a weird situation for sure. It looks like Dinah's got some DeFi going on. Maybe I need to get some on. Everyone seemed to have good results on Zaman. So testing FXRP with Zaman. I know it's anecdotal and early, but getting decent yield. The vault is already full. I did hear the vault was full. 25 million FXRP already locked up in there. So I actually can't get in it right now anyways. I have so many wallets. I've got like... I must have like 7 or 8 by this point. So I'm kind of hesitant to get another one, but maybe I should get Zaman just so I can get in on that. It sounds like 5.6% is much better than anything that I'm getting for my FXRP. Now, Say Hey Bruh asks, where do you see Flare in 3 years? It's a tough question because it's like, how do you really know how much money is going to pour in here? All I can say is that I think Flare will eventually be in the top 10 on CoinMarketCap. So to be in the top 10 right now, you would need a market cap of essentially, you'd have to beat Cardano, which is at $9.5 billion. So if Flare needs to be at $9.5 billion to be in the top 10, and right now it's at 7.5 or 0.75 billion, that would be a multiplicative value of about 13 to 14x. So I think at the very minimum, within 3 years, we probably see 12, 13 cent Flare. I think it'd probably be a little bit closer in price to what we see H-bar at right now. And then, I could see this, and I guess you have to ask yourself, to be in the top 10 3 years from now, all of these are going to go up as well. I mean, naturally. So maybe 10 billion market cap doesn't do it. Maybe Flare needs to get 25 million market cap by this time 3 years from now. So maybe it would be even higher than that, like 30 to 35 cents. It's really hard when you start projecting these price predictions. It gets very difficult because no one actually knows how much money is going to inflow and at what time. All I can say is that at some point in the story of crypto, the entire global finance system will be moved on chain, and it's really hard to get a value on how much money there is in the world. We know that Nostro Vostro accounts are somewhere between 30 and 40 trillion. Even that's hard to get a concrete number on, but okay, you take 30 to 40 trillion in Nostro Vostro. Maybe I've seen some reports that say there might be 140 trillion in free flowing cash. So that would put you up to what, 180 trillion? And then we're not even talking about real estate yet. We're not even talking about tokenization of the stock market yet. We're not even talking about people that trade on derivatives and leverage. So, all the silver and gold buyers and traders that are buying paper, if that gets tokenized, it's really hard to know what this final value of when it's all said and done. All I can say is that crypto is currently at 2.4 trillion. if you get that factor up to 250 trillion or whatever it ends up being, that would be a 100x market wide across the board. I do think XRP, Flare, HBAR, Quant will get a lot of that, so it's going to be disproportional. I really do believe all of these are 100x opportunities within the next 5 to 10 years. I just can't tell you guys the exact timeline, and I don't think anybody else on YouTube can either. So some people ask me, hey, are you watching this guy? Are you watching that guy? As soon as a content creator starts throwing out dates and specific prices, I'm immediately checked out. I've seen too much of that stuff. I'm over it. That's why I don't personally do it myself. I'm not saying it's going to be this price by that date, because I don't know, and the people making the content don't know either. It seems to be a problem in the crypto space. I think a lot of people need the views, and obviously views equal money. So it's like, well, the thing that's going to get people in here, I mean, I could do it myself. I could make a video that says XRP is going to $10,000, make a big thumbnail with like a nuclear bomb going off and be like, oh my God, Brad Garlinghouse said this. And I could make those videos. I just choose not to because I feel like it's really scummy. And I've been tricked by those videos before. When I say tricked, I don't mean like they're tricking me, but they are wasting my time. So I guess I'm losing my time by clicking on those videos. That's why I don't want to also make that type of video. So I can't tell you guys when all this is going to happen. No one else on YouTube or Twitter can either. All we can do is just be watchful of the markets and see where they're moving. The JP10Y coming back down a little bit here, 2.16 rounding up, of course. We saw it as high as 2.18 earlier in the week. In fact, it hit 2.2, although I think this would have been after my stream yesterday. So to see it come back down, I mean, hey, as long as this thing continues trending upward, we might see the reverse carry trade. I'm starting to think, I don't know, the Brent oil situation has kind of stabilized a little bit, and I don't want to say that a 14,000 yen oil price is stable, but it's not spiking the way we saw the spike earlier in the week. It's come back down. If we're just strictly talking about the reverse carry trade, I don't know that we have the pieces together to make that thing happen quite yet. The thing that I'm nervous about, you guys, is like we're all sitting here on our hands and knees praying for this reverse carry trade. Meanwhile, the rise of oil causes very real problems in your very real life. And so if you don't get the reverse carry trade, then all of this is meaningless. Your gas prices go up, your energy prices go up, your grocery bill goes up, your friend goes off to war and dies, or your friend comes back home and becomes a heroin addict because he's not getting VA, he's not getting assistance. These are real things that are happening to real people. You guys probably have seen a little bit of it yourself. All of this could potentially be for nothing if there's no reverse carry trade. So that's why I don't cheerlead it. And it's almost like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if all of this happens and you don't get the reverse carry trade, then the whole thing truly was pointless. So that's just my perspective on that. I see you guys making some movement here in the chat. I'm just going to kind of briefly read through it. I think Dinah is making a joke here. Maybe I'll make an April Fool's Day video. That could be kind of fun. But then at the same time, there might be people that don't get that it's a joke. So I'm like, maybe we should be cautious about that kind of stuff. Gemini or Gainami, am I saying that right? The Gainami, I think we should reduce inflation rate of Flare. Way too much supply hitting markets when there's not much utility. Price will go down and down with it. Well, the inflation on Flare is already done because the Flare drops are complete. So, I mean, there's still going to be some minting of Flare, of course, but it's not going to be handed out, you know, on a monthly basis like it has been. And there's also a built-in burn system for Flare. So I think we're going to see these. It's going to inflate less and less until it eventually becomes an equilibrium of inflation to burn. So I think that's going to happen naturally. Millpower says, if a YouTuber makes a claim about XRP being any price and they do so without evidence, they lose credibility. Yeah, and there's been quite a lot of that lately. And it's something that I'm very much trying to avoid. Next up from the Gainemite, milking delegation wards is not utility. It's reviving magic beans that won't be doing much. You need real world use case for them too, and you don't even know you are using them. Am I reading that right? Okay, I think there was just a grammatical error there. I think what you're trying to say is you need a real point use case and that the person on the other end doesn't even know they're using them. Probably will get there, but it'll take many years. I get what you're saying, but these are financial products, so we can already see the utilities there. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go to Kinetic right now and go to supply and borrow. I could borrow a stable coin right now with the amount of Flare I have. I'm not going to do it, but I guess let's just see what would happen if I were. How much could I actually get? I don't want to actually do this, but we can at least so if I wanted to, if I'm reading this right, I should be able to put up 50,000 Flare, get a loan of 16,000. I don't know. I'd have to poke around with this. I'd have to make sure I actually am using the tool right. But the point is, I could get a loan for the Flare that I have, and that's like real utility, right? So I'd have to poke around with this, make sure I'm actually using it properly. But I mean, this right here is already an existing use case. It's just that the price appreciation is not there, so the amounts are small. But if you were to put like 50,000 US dollars into Flare, which would get you millions of Flare, by the way, if you had millions of Flare in here, the collateral on your loan would be enough for you to get like an actual serious loan. So it's like, it's already doable. It's just that I don't think many people have that kind of money in crypto yet. I mean, we can even see if I go to the Flare rich list, I know it's one of these tabs. The amount of wallets that have more than 1 million Flare are less than 5,000. So less than 5,000 wallets have more than 1 million Flare, and that includes, you know, the Flare network, and then it also includes all the FTSO providers. So all this is technically doable right now. It's just that there's almost nobody out there that has the kind of money in this market yet to be using it. We need the price appreciation to happen before this becomes like really real. But all the framework is there. It's already there. We know it can work. Now we got some more follow-up from Millpower. There's no guaranteeing anything that's true. I think he's just replying to the chat here. Dynamod asks, could you trade a stable coin from Flare, then get more yield on a stable coin? Well, that's an interesting idea. I haven't really thought that one out yet. I guess I don't see why you couldn't. I think there's going to be people that do that. If I'm understanding what you're saying is you get a loan of like USD like a stable coin, get a loan on that, and then flip it into an appreciating asset like Flare XRP, and then get maybe even take it one step forward and put those tokens that you borrowed to work so that they're generating yield. I think I follow what you're saying, but it's like a word salad. So like, first you borrow the stable coin, then you buy the appreciating asset, then you enroll the appreciating asset into a yield generating opportunity, and you use that yield to pay the loan back. I think that's a cool idea. I'm sure that there's going to be people that do that. I'm nervous about that kind of stuff because if markets go down, that all those people out there that are like, oh, I just borrow against my assets, like that only works during a bull run. It does not work during a bear market. And if the bear market hits you when you're not expecting it to, can cause you quite a lot of problems. And right now we're in that bear market. I mean, it's not going to be bad like this forever, but you know, it is definitely bad right now. Monty asked, do I play in any fantasy league? I don't know exactly what that means. I mean, I do fantasy football. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I do fantasy football to stay in contact with some of my college buddies that have moved. This is going to be totally off topic, but it's something I've thought about, so I'll say it. There's a certain demographic of people on the internet who like will relentlessly make fun of dudes that are doing fantasy football. You see it a lot in like manosphere content creators, or like Andrew Tate is an example of someone who makes fun of fantasy football. I do it to stay in touch with people that I'm otherwise not going to be seeing probably ever again, right? So I have friends that have moved to different parts of the country, or in some cases have moved out of the country. If I'm in fantasy football league with them, then we have a group chat. We're all playing the same game, and it's the NFL, so it's like 20 weeks a year. This group chat is very active. We're talking about more than just fantasy football. I use fantasy football to stay in contact with people. And I'm sure that there's many people that do the same thing. So this whole like hating on fantasy football or hating on video games thing, I just think is kind of like silly. That's just a personal opinion of mine. And then Millpower's got another question here. What needs to happen is simple. For me, it means buying the absolute F word out of it and waiting. Andrew is right. Years down the road, you will wonder why you didn't buy more. So I have something I want to say on this too. And I don't want to play my tiny little violin. I know I've probably been doing that a lot lately, but being unemployed, I literally can't really take advantage of this buying opportunity. But back when I was working, I was extremely aggressive, you guys. I was investing, in some cases, 40% of my income annually for years on end. In fact, I'll tell you guys a little secret. Back when I was like 23 or 24 years old, I mean, mind you, I'm 33 now, so this was almost 10 years ago. I used to do this thing that I used to call nomad mode, where on January 1st, I would set my 401k contributions to 100% of my paycheck. And before January 1st, I would go to Costco and buy the bags of rice and like tubs of protein powder. And I would essentially contribute 4 paychecks, which was 100% of my paychecks, into my 401k, so that by February 28th, I would have, now granted, this was like entry-level paychecks, right? So I would have somewhere between $10,000 and like $15,000 invested in my 401k, and then I could just pay the company match for the rest of the year. And I was maxing out my 401k that way. And part of the reason I did it in January and February is so that I'd have an extra 10 months for my 401k contributions to compound. So that's where my mindset's at. That's where I've always been. Like, if I'm going to do something, I go absolutely crazy with it. I'm not in a position right now where I can do it, which which sucks major ass. But that's just my tiny violin moment. I was buying up crypto like you could not believe back in 2025. I was buying 2-cent flare for like I was absolutely dumping buckets of money into 2-cent flare. And then well, I guess that's just the way the world works, right? Like markets go down, then unemployment rises. So it's like you want to buy the assets, but you also like companies can't afford to keep their employees. So it's like a weird, like, what do you do? So that's just kind of like, but for those of you guys that are employed, definitely be stacking hard. If I do end up getting back to work, which I think I'm probably going to need to, I love doing this, you guys, but it's not paying the bills, and that's just the truth. I would be very aggressive. I would probably contribute probably 40% of my paycheck to crypto as soon as that first paycheck hits my bank account. That would probably be what I do. Seha is doing 4K a month. That's actually pretty close to where I would personally be doing it. So that's pretty awesome. That's maybe a little more aggressive than I would do, but I'm glad that you can do it. I was thinking, if depending on what my starting salary would be, and I don't have anything yet. This job market is bad. Let me just tell you. I would probably start with $700 a week and then increase that if I felt like my threshold was getting easier. Yeah, if you guys are employed, if you hate your job, like, just keep your head down right now, because I can tell you on the other side of things, it's not good. I've had more interviews in the past 6 months. I've been laid off since November. I've had more interviews in the past 6 months than my entire life combined. And I've had some companies tell me there's a hiring freeze. I've had some companies tell me one company told me, I asked after the interview was over, I say, great, well, it was great talking with you guys. What's the next step? They said, well, we have about 15 more candidates to talk to. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't swear on the stream because I'll get hit with a strike here. But when you tell me that there's 15 other people interviewing for that position, it's just like, it's done. That's obviously not going to work out. It's like going on The Bachelor. Like going on The Bachelor for an IT job. What? It's not like, I did some IT consulting. It was, you had to know what you were doing, but it's like, dude, there's more unemployed IT people right now than I have ever seen in my life. And I think that with AI, there's probably no turning back. AI is probably going to ruin the SAP developer industry. That's what I was, SAP developer. Don't think that that's going to be getting better. So I kind of like, man, maybe I should figure out something else. I've thought of different things. I thought about becoming a trucker. Deep, I'd be down to do that. See, the thing about being a handyman is that it's not that I couldn't do it. It's that I don't know, there's something almost like a mental blockage of my mind of starting over in my mid-30s, if that makes sense. But like if the writing really is on the wall that IT is over, then like maybe there's something to that. Maybe I should just say, all right, it's time to face the music and do a complete career change. And I definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me after all these months, man. I've been at this since November, so I mean we're almost midway through March. That's about 4 months, so I appreciate you guys. I'm hoping this war stuff wraps up so I can kind of just go back to analyzing crypto, because I feel like my own energy's been a little bit off since this whole war thing started. I find myself kind of like angry all the time. I don't really like that, but I'd be lying to you guys if I said this whole thing doesn't upset me greatly. You know, there's more to it than just the money. And we don't have to break that down too much, but definitely don't like seeing the bad guys win. And people, and we don't got to get down, and some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about with that, but I don't like seeing the bad guys win. So I find myself very frustrated lately. I do feel like, you know, I'm basically starting over right now, to Millpower's point. It's a humbling experience because it's like, you know, you go 10 years in a row of doing something and you get really good at it. And it's like, dang, man, I'm right back to where I was when I was 21 years old. So it's interesting, but you know, we're here. I basically don't miss a stream. I know I sometimes don't always start on time, but I don't miss a stream. Actually, tomorrow I might, because I'm flying. I'm visiting a buddy. So I'll try to stream Friday. Maybe it won't be a whole hour. Maybe it'll be like a half hour, just to kind of feed the beast a little bit. But that's that. I want to see, because I kind of haven't hit the silver and gold yet. Silver and gold is, you know, silver's at 85 and gold's at 52, or not 52. It's at 51.68. So I'm still waiting to see if the long contracts on these get fulfilled, which it doesn't look like they have. So silver and gold are kind of sitting steady right now. U.S. stock market is trading a little bit flat. Here's what I'm wondering. The oil reserves, everyone knows that there's going to be oil reserves. Like, it's not like the financial people of the world didn't see this coming at least a little bit. I would be very interested to see what happens when Asia runs out of their oil reserves. I've been seeing some stuff on Twitter, and look, on Twitter, you can't take anything at face value anymore. But if what I'm seeing is true, the oil shortage in China has already started. Same with Korea and Japan. All I can go off of are videos that I see, and with the way the misinformation is going on with Twitter, it's just like, man, I don't even know if I'm looking at it as real. But if it is real, we could start to see, you know, the Brent oil start going back up again really fast if the reserve oil dries up. And when I say reserve oil, I mean like the oil that's already been shipped out of the Middle East and is probably sitting somewhere in a depot, you know, barrels upon barrels of this stuff. So let's see if that happens. The reverse carry trade is kind of like this miracle. It's almost like one of Aaron Rodgers' Hail Marys that he used to throw. Maybe you guys don't know Aaron Rodgers like I do. I'm from Michigan, so as a Lions fan, those Aaron Rodgers Hail Marys were ending my Sunday afternoons pretty frequently as a kid growing up. I'm looking at the reverse carry trade right now as like an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary. It's like, that's the thing that's going to put XRP at the price it needs to be for real adoption. I think that would really move things forward. Clarity Act is kind of like, what's another football analogy I could make? The Clarity Act is like kicking field goals. It's like, you don't want to win by kicking field goals. Deep Day says, I hope that you do this YouTube even if I get a full-time job. What I would probably do, because I've thought about this extensively. There's no reason I couldn't just do this at like 5 p.m., right? I know that some people are in Europe and that would make this hard for them to do. 5 p.m. would be like 11 o'clock at night over there. But if I do, especially if I get a remote job, I could quite literally just end my workday by streaming for an hour, and then basically nothing else changes. That would also make it possible for me to do a little bit more pre-recorded content. So I would still, actually, in a weird way, I think if I got a full-time job, it would actually make the content a little bit better, because then I wouldn't be worried about monetizing the content. I would just make videos. Like, I wouldn't even, I mean, I don't really do it right now much. If I wouldn't even be plugging nothing. I just say, here's the video, it is what it is, and I just post it. Instead of being like, oh, if you guys need a wallet, if you guys need this, if you need that, then use this and that. I was like, I don't want to be doing that. I really, honestly, guys, I really don't. I'd rather just make videos. That's all. That's why I got into this, is just to make videos, not to sell sponsorship deals and stuff like that. So if I did get the full-time job, that'd be sick, because then it's just like, all right, back to business. I'll just come out and stream at night or in the late afternoon. If the job's super easy, then I could just do it on my lunch break. But maybe I shouldn't do that one, but I mean, it's an option. I've worked some jobs. I had one job though, like they didn't have an assignment for me for like 3 months. So it's like, well, you're paying me to sit around, so I guess you could pay me to make YouTube videos. But we'll cross that bridge if it comes to it. Let's see some movement here. The Gemini here in the EU where I live now, I think the economy will go to garbage if this blockade holds. We are dependent on it. I think it may, but it's important to know how they will sell that story, how they sell to the public story that we need a new system. So this is where things get contentious. I know that there's different opinions. I'm of the opinion that Iran can maintain the blockade. I know that some people believe that Iran cannot maintain the blockade. At the end of the day, I don't want to turn this into a Facebook comment thread where we're all just pissing on each other. Personally, I think that the blockade is going to be in effect for a long time. But that's just my opinion. Everyone's allowed to have different opinions. I don't expect this problem to go away anytime soon. Next comment from the Gemini. Most people are on edge after 2020 when they tried to implement digital health ID. It was a time when they tried the stick, carrot now. Oh, I think what you're trying to, I think I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I never bought into the whole COVID stuff. I never got any of the vaccines. I never even took a COVID test. I never took one. I didn't believe in wearing a mask. I didn't believe in any of that stuff. I got ostracized socially. I live in a somewhat liberal area, so all my liberal friends thought I was literally the painter. This guy is literally a Nazi, just because I wouldn't go along with the vaccine. That's what I get for living in a liberal area, I guess. But it just never, I don't know how people could believe in it, to be honest with you. I think that there's probably a lot of like subconscious programming going on. Oh shoot, I just hit a button. Ah, geez, what did I just do? There we go. So it never worked on me. I definitely lost a lot of my social life over it, but that is what it is. I don't think that those problems have ever gone away. Actually, if you really want to break things down, my real red pilling, like the real red pilling, started around 2020 when everything started to get locked down. I saw that like people that I know are behaving strangely and nothing's making sense to me. That's when I started to really go out and look for answers. I definitely found them. YouTube's a hard space to talk about these things because you say the wrong thing, you get demonetized, or they close your account altogether. So it's like you kind of have to like tiptoe around the topic, but all you gotta do is just if there's smoke, follow the smoke and you'll find the fire. The same people that created the vaccine are the same people that you go to these global economic summits in Switzerland. The same people that are voting on who we go to war with, they're all it's a big. They say it's a big club, but it's actually not a big club. It's actually a small club, and none of us are allowed in it. And it's the same shot. It's the same exact thing with the war in Iran. It's the same people. It's always the same people every time. And once you start to connect these dots, you can't unconnect it. You can't even stop unseeing it. It's like quite literally being in the Matrix, and you take the red pill, and now everywhere you go, you start to see Agent Smith. I know that some of you guys know what I'm saying, but I can't say it directly because that's just the way it is. Maybe if I had like a Rumble account, which I don't. And part of it is if I say certain things, then it's going to make me very unemployable, which is also another factor, right? So, but I think a lot of you guys know where I'm going with that. Echo of Silence says, I saw a Cashew Nate video where a poll showed that 80% of XRP holders were unvaccinated. I saw that too. I didn't watch the video, but I did see the thumbnail. Makes sense to me. I think a lot, I could kind of unpack this idea a little bit. I think that in order to find XRP or in order to get into this, on some level, you have to be kind of sick of the financial system. Otherwise, most people don't care about anything, man. They're into whatever sports are on TV or what celebrities are dating who. If you're someone that's trying to find a way out of the economic mess, you're probably already a curious mind. So that's how you kind of end up looking for options out there. Now that's going to make the same kind of person that's doing that is also going to question, things like the vaccine. So it makes sense that a lot of XRP holders would be unvaccinated because it's the same type of mindset. The same type of mindset is trying to find out how to free themselves financially is also probably trying to free themselves altogether, right? Isn't that the whole idea? Is to be free of all this crap. And so if the bread and circus doesn't work on you, then I don't think that the vaccine would work on you either. Certainly didn't work on me. I told Ayman, I don't know if you ever listened to it, but 5 years ago, I got a call from HR. I won't say the company I was working at, although I couldn't stop you guys from looking me up on LinkedIn. I got a call from HR that said that if I did not take the vaccine, then I was going to be ineligible for my annual bonus and that they would put me on a performance improvement plan. Pretty weird to put someone on a PIP for not taking a fucking vaccine. That fucking bitch. Anyways, I recorded that conversation. I just broke my rules by swearing. I'm very angry about this stuff, you guys. These things make me extremely angry. I try not to let it out on stream, but if you talk to me off stream, I'm a very angry person. I hate our system. I hate the people that volunteer to work in it. I don't see them. Yeah, I know that's a red flag. I guess I won't make my $3 for the stream today. But I'm in XRP because I want to start new, right? I would like to fix America. And part of that means fundraising so that you can start winning elections. Okay, you can't win an election if you don't have money, right? One guy is going to go around going door to door with a pad of paper asking for signatures, while the next person's getting commercials on the radio, commercials on the TV, billboards on the highway. Money wins elections. You can't win an election without money. And so it's like, okay, got to get the money first. once you get the money, then you can start figuring out, okay, how do we start taking this country back in a way that's meaningful? Basically, you have to have a politician who either has their own money so they're not worried about getting bribes, or you have to find the perfect man. We're probably not going to find the perfect man, so the next best idea is to get someone who already has enough money that they don't need to accept the bribes. Mill Power says, what you could do, Andrew, is sue your past employee for financial terrorism. You know, I don't know if they're going to stay in business long enough for that one to even play out. The Chinese electric vehicle markets, if they ever start selling in the United States, it will put the company I worked for out of business. And I think they deserve to be. But that's all I got to say about that for now. All right, let me branch off into some other things before I get angry all over again. Yeah, I get angry a lot. You guys don't even know how angry I get. I'm angry by default, and then I turn the stream on. I'm like, all right, I gotta be nice. Gotta be the nice Andrew that everyone. Andrew, you're so nice. It's like, well, really, it's not that I'm nice. It's that I'm trying not to get demonetized. All right, let's see. What do we got going on? No rewards to claim today. That makes sense. I'm on my Flare spreadsheet now. I'm expecting to get my staking reward tomorrow. Let's see how that one pans out. Look at my staking reward. We're at 50,301. So 50,301. Man, yeah. Here we go. So nothing's really moved here in my collateral pool in the past 24 hours. I've gotten 0.1 of a flare, so nothing crazy there. Let's see if I officially hit half an XRP. Ooh, I'm still at 0.49. So still don't have a full XRP or half XRP yet from my collateral pools. That's okay. The collateral pool, you got to think like you're still getting the epochs on the collateral, and then you're also getting some FXRP, which the exchange is right. It's like roughly 150 flare to 1 XRP, so it's not nothing. Currently, I think staking's the best though. I'm gonna be looking at my Mystic reward. Probably got some decent value out of this. The core vault has gone back down a little bit, not a lot. Oh, well, this is new. Hold on. This is new. This is new, guys. Core FXRP now officially has a native APY. This wasn't here the last time we streamed. I know it wasn't. Now the native APY is at 0.18%. So this is something to watch. The RFL rewards are cool. This native APY, this is what I really wanted. Let's see if this thing continues to rise. That's going to be the thing that does it for me. And it's fine if it's a combination of the two. I'm not going to complain about that. But I do want to see the native reward. Because hold on, I'm gonna have to freeze this row. How do you freeze a row in Google Sheets? There it is. No, that's not what I wanted. I've literally got it highlighted. Come on, this is Microsoft has this figured out. How does... Okay, come on. You gotta be shitting on my ass. All right, I guess that works. You guys like that analogy? My buddy says that whenever he's mad. He says, "You gotta be shitting on my ass." I like it. I stole it from him. I'm gonna keep using it. Kinetic FLR. Let's jump to that one. So kinetic. Looks like we've got 50,011.69. So that's cool. We're getting some reward here just having this thing chilling in kinetic. It's just passively generating me not crazy amounts, but you can see it's been in there for a couple of days and I've already put together 11. Now I still have not claimed a reward yet, so it looks like when I can claim, I've been told it's every 2 weeks, so we'll just kind of keep watching. But when I do get to claim, I'm going to be able to claim 72. I'm going to be putting in 0 for now since we haven't actually claimed it. And I think that's probably the right way to do it. For some reason, these ones are not showing up as 0.0s. Well, that's kind of weird, isn't it? I just want you to do what I tell you. Now you do what I tell you. There we go. So that's my flare side of the ball. Let's drag this bad boy down. And where's the screen of the price? 894. 894. You know what's cool? I have a higher balance now than when we started. Oh, that's right. I added 500 flare. Because I'm going to say the price is down, but my balance is higher. But that's because we added 500. But I still generated 1,544 flare since February 1st. And I'm doing this with pretty small amounts of flare, you guys. We're not... I wouldn't say I'm going too crazy with this. You certainly could go a lot harder than putting 50,000 flare. I think you would be pretty happy with those rewards. Ooh. My FXRP has generated a little bit of APY here. You can see, I think this would actually be an XRP reward, which is cool because we know that there will never be more XRP created. Unlike Flare that has built-in inflation, there's no built-in inflation for FXRP. I'm still not going to round it up yet until it gets a little bit closer to being a 0.1. Just because I want to kind of keep this thing clean here. What was the price again? Price was $1.38. So this is good. I'm expecting that. Oh man, I'm not sharing my screen. Oh my god. I'm glad one of you said it. How long was that for? Wait, was I not sharing my screen for any of that? Oh man. Oh well. Well, here's the finished values. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm at my work all over again. Okay, here's what I guess you guys couldn't. Man, you guys didn't see any of that. Oh my goodness. All right, so I guess I'll give you guys the cliff notes. I'm expecting that stake reward tomorrow. So I got the box yellow highlighted. Collateral pool didn't do much today from yesterday. My Mystic reward is decent. 20 flare since yesterday. Kinetic is cool. Also getting me rewards. Not quite as quick as what Mystic is, but Kinetic has a better APY for FXRP. Now, I guess I wasn't sharing the screen, so we'll jump back to it. Man, you guys didn't see any of that. Okay. Core FXRP, this thing is now up to 0.18% APY. So that has gone up from 0. It was 0. Now it's... Oh, the thing keeps disappearing on me. This is the first time since I've been in this that I've seen it be more than zero. So this is what I want to see continue going up. And if that is the case, that's going to be really nice, because at the end of the day, the RFLR rewards is like an incentive for us to be like jumping into this. It's the APY that we really want. So going to be keeping an eye on this one. Definitely feeling a little better about it today than I did earlier in the week. If it were to go back down to 1%, I'd be pretty disappointed. But as long as, you know, like I can take 4%. 4% is okay. That's actually pretty decent. I mean, even in the stock market, dividends are not usually that good unless it's like a REIT. So I'll take a 4% dividend on this, especially while we're waiting for that price appreciation. And then on Kinetic's got a pretty nice 8.5 APY on your flare, 2.5 APY on the FXRP. So currently, Mystic has taken over Kinetic on FXRP as far as the best deal goes. Firelight's supposed to go up next week, which would be March 18th. So that'd be next Wednesday. We'll see. I really, really want Firelight to do well, but I'd like to see some more transparency out of them. I've had my XRP in Firelight since December 3rd, and I've got absolutely no idea what the points do. And we have other platforms now that are actually giving us rewards. So we're getting rewards on the Kinetic. We're getting rewards on Mystic. Those of you that were able to get in on Zaman are getting rewards. So if Firelight wants to do well, they've got to give us at least some information. Otherwise, you know, I'm gonna eventually put my FXRP where the money is. And if there's no money out of Firelight, then I unfortunately had to get out of it. But I want it to succeed. So I want to see them succeed. So I'm hoping that they get that going. And then, of course, I've got my hash pack. We may as well claim that while we're here. Hash pack. There we go. So I've currently got 1 H bar to collect. Just hit the button. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to really see this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's see if it gets into focus. Well, anyways, I claimed 1 H bar. Ooh, Crypto Sensei had an interview with Jesus. I'll have to check that out. So that's cool. I think we're caught up. Let's just jump to Twitter for like 2 or 3 minutes to see if there's literally any headlines we can hit. And if not, we'll wrap things up. I'll try to get a video out tonight. I am traveling for vacation purposes starting tomorrow. So I'll probably have at least some content coming out over the weekend, but probably not like anything too crazy as far as content. It might just be like quick hitters. I do like the idea of hitting that market recap video, so I'll probably shoot that while I'm on vacation. That's an easy one for me to do. So they'll be kind of quick wins for me. Hugo says, I can't anymore with the UK. Finally time for me to look to USA as the last bastion of democracy and sanity. Should we tell him? Sorry, Hugo. Grass ain't green here either. No way. This guy literally just said the exact thing I said, but before I opened the comments thread. That's so funny. Oh man. There's no democracy's not doing so good, you guys. Maybe it's time for something a little bit different. AL3 says, I use Robinhood, not interested in opening new accounts anywhere. I dislike technology. Is it possible for Robinhood to offer Flare? Ah, man, I just don't think so. Trying to think of the best way to say this. I mean, if you don't want to open up more accounts, your best bet is probably Uphold, because I don't think Robinhood's going to be able to do what Robinhood is. I'm trying to think, how did I say this? Robinhood is it's kind of like going bowling, right? You ever go bowling and there's like bumpers? Like Robinhood is like bowling in the bumper lane. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. There's just not much that you're going to be able to do with Robinhood. If you could at least get onto Uphold, then you could take advantage of staking. It's not live yet on Uphold, but Hugo said that it will be soon. So that could be an option. I think even Coinbase might be having something. I think Coinbase might also have on-app staking coming soon. Otherwise, I mean, if you were to just, I don't want to give financial advice, but if you were to just take the leap and get a Bifrost ID, you might find it's not so bad. But I don't want to push you guys into stuff that you're not comfortable with. You know, just keep watching me do it until maybe you're like, all right, maybe this ain't so bad. But Robinhood's just not going to get the job done for some of this stuff. Iman says, Hugo posted about how the UK is looking to not have a jury trial for crime with 3 years' time. What does that mean? So they just throw you in jail? Is that really what that means? Man, am I glad we got the 2A here in the United States. That wouldn't work for me. Let's see, Bifrost wallet. This might be kind of cool. It says, 30 million FXRP minted in the last 2 weeks. I mean, we actually have kind of covered that live on the channel. Let's just pop over and see what it is right now. It was at 133 the last time I looked at it. Oh, okay, 132. Okay, that's kind of close enough. But it doesn't look like much has really been minted in the past couple of, or like last hour anyways. Yeah, 9 million got minted. It's saying today, but really it was yesterday. I'm curious why this chart doesn't look right. Because we covered it yesterday, and it definitely happened yesterday. Anyways, FXRP up to 132 million minted. That's pretty solid. The overall cap is 170 million, and that just got raised. So they might have to raise it again sooner than we think. Good problem to have. More FXRP that gets minted, the better. Now it looks like this is a 56-minute interview. Oh, here we go. Jesus, this must be what you were talking about, Iman. I will have to watch this, but we won't watch it here because it's long. And people seem, I do watch. When I watch content on Twitter, I can see people falling off in real time. So it's like, okay, by people leaving the stream, that's my way of knowing that watching other content is not what people want. So we probably won't do that. Let's see here. There was one more thing I wanted to hit. Oh yeah, it's AL. don't worry, man. I'm gonna be doing these demos for a long time. So when you feel comfortable hopping in, hop in. It's I get it. It's scary stuff when you first see it for the first time, but it really does get easier as you go. And whenever you're ready for it, you're ready for it. So I think I'm gonna start wrapping up, you guys. I do want to actually watch some of this myself. Oh, here's a tweet from Paul Barron. So hopefully this is actually a real video. I guess this doesn't really look AI generated, so this one's probably true. Cars lining up for gas at the gas station. Now, this could be a few things. They could just be preemptively filling up so that they don't have to deal with the problem after the fact, or they've already got the problem and you've got to fill up now. So not sure what the truth of this one is, but that's a very long line, even longer than the lines at Costco, if you can believe it. Pretty crazy stuff. So just keep an eye out there, guys. One thing I've trying to hammer home is that as much as we want the reverse carry trade to hit, rising oil prices does mean that, you know, we might be in some actual trouble in our real personal lives. So just gotta keep an eye on what's going on here. I think I'm gonna wrap this up before I end up seeing stuff on Twitter that ends up being Iran related. I have been watching a lot of Iran stuff lately. I know I'm supposed to be focused on the crypto, but it just is what it is. I've been like 80% war footage and like 20% crypto for the past week or so. And you know, there hasn't really been that much news for crypto in comparison to just stuff like this. So anyways, I'll probably stream tomorrow at some point. I'll probably stream at some point tomorrow. I do have a layover flight, so that'd be probably the time that I do it. It's all gonna come down to if I can find a desk or a table that I can put my laptop up on. Otherwise, I'll probably stream in the morning while you know how it is. You go on these trips and, you know, when people are hungover, they gotta sit and chill. And that's gonna be the time that I can make some videos. So I'll see you guys probably sometime tomorrow, sometime Friday, and I'll still have that market recap video at the end of the week. Till then, guys, be safe. Make sure that you don't get caught in any gas lines, and I don't know. Don't get hit by any missiles if you guys can avoid it. I think most of you guys are going to be fine. Just making a joke. All right. Take it easy, guys.